I don't know with that trend that we got healthier. So you will hear about this great science, how advanced we have become. I'm so glad I don't live in a third world country, because I got access to the best healthcare in the world. From the pharmaceutical standpoint, how do you think we got here? How do you think we went from in 1926, 75% natural remedies to where we at now, somewhere it's been this total reversal? And do you think with the influx of this new synthetic drugs of where we at now, that no question they're powerful, they're direct, are we in a better space? Are we advanced? Are we healthier as a nation?
That's a great framing. I see it as kind of how everything happens, right? When you start off with pure essence, and pure essence is kind of designed or comes from a place of we have a problem, we need a solution. And so when you think about early medications, you think about herbals, you think about all of these things, they came from people being so close to the nature that they understood, or just through trial or whatever, they were able to associate some healing properties per se from those natural-ish products. And we still know it today. Like if you are close enough to a grandparent or aunt or something in these families, there are these remedies that they'll just tell you go outside and get something and bring it back in, and making tinctures and things like that. So at the foundation of it, it is kind of one of those things where it was designed to just kind of take what's around us and being able to utilize it for good. But as all good things generally happen, there can be a connection with that type of benefit with a price tag. And we evolved to this place in the society that we live in, to where health became an entity that could lead to some type of income generation, right? And then we also have had this boom to where, like the baby boomers, increase in population, the desire to live longer, kind of influence a constant production of how can we build this thing to kind of get to this end result of being healthy. The problem is that it has become us to be reliant on the therapy from a reactive standpoint, and there's likely no emphasis on preventative, or how can we maintain the body in its ideal state without having to rely on these outside substances, right? And as people get sicker and sicker, then there's this need for mass production and all of that type of stuff. So you get away from kind of healing in the moment to thriving in this place of, man, we do better when we have a lot of people sick. In comes Big Pharma, right? So a lot of times people will ask the question, is like, well, why ain't they really putting all this emphasis on actual cure? And some would argue that it would be detrimental to develop cure when we can just pacify symptom, right? So there's a lot of debate in that, but to answer the question globally is that there was an opportunity to take advantage of benefit and make money off of it, right? And then the cycle is that the medications, there's science that supports medications. So then you have to also look at the actual person who has, let's just say, been diagnosed with something that is taking medication. The medications will work. What you have to avoid is just getting to that place of, I'm going to continue doing everything that I've been doing because I know I've got this pill that'll fix it. I would have family members that would have like that diabetes or whatnot. And it's the holidays. So they're like, I'm gonna go ahead and take my medication for what I'm getting ready to do. Right? But we really, and so that just kind of feeds into it. That's how the consumer feeds into Big Pharma, and Big Pharma responds by producing more medications, and it just goes on and on and on. And the natural products, we see it with our food. Like the small farmer loses out because a lot of times the small farmer is sticking to just kind of the traditional methods and the fundamental methods. But then you have the big farms that are doing a lot of synthetic stuff and a lot of hybrids so that they can get more product out faster and all of that type of stuff. So we'll probably get into it more so, but it's a vicious cycle. And I think we have to start looking at ourselves in terms of how do we break certain cycles from a health, wellness, pharmacotherapy standpoint.